I'm very disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed, to be fair. I have done so much for this club. It seems like the club is throwing me under the bus. That's how I feel it.
Well, that was something. Last week, Mohamed Salah took a page out of CR7's playbook and done an interview, which, safe to say, has caused some headlines. He claimed that Liverpool threw him under the bus and his relationship with Arne is non-existent. People are picking sides and it looks like a civil war. The fans are calling him selfish. Wayne Rooney has claimed that he's destroying his legacy at Liverpool. But what if I told you that the world is ignoring one of the most dominant statistical runs that we've ever seen? Is the community too harsh on Mo Salah? Or has time finally caught up with him? As a die-hard Chelsea fan, and Hazard being my favourite player, it would be easy for me to sit here and just throw dirt on Salah's name. Passing the eye test is one thing, but having the numbers to back it up, Salah is one of the best examples for this. In Liverpool's last game against Brighton, something historic happened. After being left out for the past few games, Salah came on as a sub and got an assist, which doesn't sound that crazy until you realise that put him into first place for the most amount of goal contributions for a single club in the Premier League in its history. Here's a table with the top 10 highest GAs in the Premier League for a single club. At first glance, you can just see a lot of numbers, but when we break it down, we can look at something a lot more interesting. First, look at the very top. As we've just established, Mohamed Salah has officially overtaken Wayne Rooney with 277 goal contributions for Liverpool. But here's the crazy part. If we look at the appearances column, Salah achieved this in just 302 games. Compare that to Rooney's at rank 2. Salah has played nearly 100 games less than Rooney, yet he's produced more output. His 0.92 goal contribution per game is quite literally a video game number. He's essentially guaranteeing Liverpool a goal or an assist almost every single time he steps onto the pitch. If we look down a little bit, we see Thierry Henry. Now don't let this ranking fool you, because look at his GA per game. 0.96. That is the highest efficiency on this entire list. Henry has the fewest appearances of anyone in the top 7, yet he comfortably sits in the middle of the pack. Now looking at this data, if Henry had played the same number of games as Rooney or even Giggs with this efficiency, he wouldn't just be number 1, he would quite literally be untouchable at the very top of this list. This isn't to take a dig at Salah, but just comparing it to Henry, who is probably regarded as the best Premier League player of all time, you can see how efficient Salah has been. So far this season, Salah has played in 20 games, has scored 5 goals and assisted 4. 9 goal contributions in 20 games seems quite considerable, to be honest, if I would say so myself. But the reaction from fans turning their back on Mo Salah has been more or less underwhelming and actually quite sad. Listen, I can sit here and show you all the stats and try to convince you that Salah has been putting on world-class performances week in and week out. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. He looked really promising and really good coming on as a sub against Brighton. But anytime Salah doesn't score or assist, people say he ghosts, he's a fraud. But I think him reaching this record is a sentiment to how underappreciated he really is. A bad run of games doesn't prove who a player is, or even a bad season doesn't show how a player is. Currently, he's tied second in the Liverpool team for most goals scored this season, with Gakpo and Szoboszlai. In addition this season, he's also got the most assists in the Liverpool team with 3, tied with Cody Gakpo. If we just quickly look back on Salah's career at Liverpool so far, he was their top goal scorer last season, and the season before that, and the season before that one, and the one before that one, and the one before that one. Well, actually, he's been their top goal scorer for the past 8 consecutive seasons since he's joined. And out of the 8 full seasons that he's played in, he was the top assister 4 times. Now pair that up with 4 Golden Boots, 2 Premier Leagues, a Champions League, and just a countless number of other achievements, you have one of the best footballing resumes any football player would wish to have. What I'm trying to say is, I agree with Salah. Why is he being benched? He's been Liverpool's best player for almost a decade, and after a few bad performances, the coach doesn't want to give him a chance? Well, I can see where the frustration comes from. So why is Slot benching him? The data tells us a complicated story. This season for Liverpool, when Mohamed Salah has not featured in the game, they have played 6 matches. They have won 4, 1 draw and 1 loss, bringing them at a win percentage of 66.67. Now when we compare that with Mohamed Salah, whether he started or came on as a sub, they have played 20 games, won 10, 2 draws and 8 losses, which brings them at a 50% win percentage. So there's that. But when looking at the expected goal stat for Liverpool, when Mohamed Salah has played, Liverpool's average team XG is 1.82, whereas when we compare that to when Salah hasn't played, it's 1.48. It's not a massive decrease, but in those few games where Salah hasn't played, they have created 0.34 fewer chances per game, just showing Salah's gravity and playmaking on the field. Overall, Salah is off to AFCON as of right now, so we'll see how Liverpool perform in his absence while he's away. As for Salah's future with Liverpool, it looks like himself and Arne have had some conversations, and it looks like they're on good terms, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Pundits like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, who's notorious for ripping into him, do see him staying at least until the end of the season and not leaving in January. But I guess we'll just all have to wait and see, because there are links saying he wants to go to Saudi, maybe try out his luck in another team. I don't know, we'll just have to see what happens. But as for this whole situation as a whole, you never want to see a player and club go head to head in public. So I hope they do resolve all their issues that they got going on, because Mohamed Salah is one of the best players to ever play in the Premier League, and it would be sad to see him leave on such a negative note. With that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.